All right, y'all, welcome to the show. I'm beginning to think that we really live in a simulation because things have gotten so crazy, it feels like it's scripted. It feels like it has to be fictional. So in just a second, I have an incredible video for you. Trump was asked a question about Jeffrey Epstein, and he goes into full-blown panic mode. He may as well tattoo guilty directly on his forehead. So I'll show you that video. That's incredible. Then we're going to get to Grok, Elon Musk's AI, having a full-on Nazi meltdown. I wish I was exaggerating. I wish this was hyperbole. It is not hyperbole in the slightest. So we'll get into that. We'll also get to a bunch of MAGA bozos and losers absolutely short-circuiting, and they end up defending Trump's Epstein betrayal. So, look, I told you, we've been saying this for a long time. It doesn't take a fucking genius to figure this out, but we're talking about a cult here. And the cult will always work backwards from their conclusion, and that's exactly what we're witnessing. So we'll get into that. We also have Jon Stewart dismantling the shameless Republican liars who flip their positions on the big bullshit bill. We have these liberal podcasters who I actually really fucking like. Well, when we get to the story, I'll give you more information on them. But they torch Hakeem Jeffries for smearing Zoran Mamdani, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Then we have wild video of the U.S. military now invading a Los Angeles park and doing fascist crackdowns. And we have one particular MAGA politician keeps making flat-out terrorist threats, and no one seems to care. The media doesn't talk about it. He doesn't get censured. No other Republican is asked about it. Even Democrats don't seem to be speaking up to say, hey, what the fuck's going on with this dude? So it is a nightmare all around. So you guys know the drill. Everybody please subscribe to the channel. That helps out big time and it costs you nothing at all. Much love to all of you who support this show on Patreon. As you know, we could not do it without you. Giving $2 a month or $5 a month goes a long, long way. This is real independent media. If you'd like to help out, that link is below. You could also subscribe to Crystal Kyle and Friends on Substack. That link is below as well. We have Tommy Vietor from PodSave on this week. Really looking forward to that conversation. And of course, go subscribe to the Corin's World YouTube channel where we're dropping Kyle and Corin episodes. In the works for Kyle and Corin too is live episodes where we'll stream it and you guys can send in super chats and we can respond in real time. So that is in the works. Hopefully we can get that up and running, but I just wanted to give clue you guys in or cue you guys in, however the fuck the saying goes on that. And go subscribe to the Corin's World YouTube channel if you want to watch those and partake in that. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into it, y'all. This video is wild. This is wacky. It's incredible because here's a guy, Donald Trump, who coasted to success based solely off of his political instincts, right? He would just shoot from the hip, say some wild shit, have no filter whatsoever. He came across as more authentic than other politicians, even though he lies more than other politicians. But now, that shit is wearing off, dog. People see right through this. So as you all know, the FBI and the DOJ, at Trump's behest the other day, came out and said, Jeffrey Epstein? Pfft, Jeffrey Epstein? I don't even know no damn Jeffrey Epstein, bro. Who's Jeffrey Epstein? I don't even know Jeffrey Epstein. They said, oh, he definitely didn't blackmail anybody, and he definitely wasn't murdered, and he also has no client list. So this is news for Ghislaine Maxwell, who's locked up for trafficking women to nobody, apparently. But this is such a preposterous lie that absolutely nobody believes it. You do have a lot of MAGA people coping and seething and doing mental gymnastics, trying to avoid putting blame on Trump. That is happening, but everybody knows the line that there is no client list and that he killed himself. That's all horseshit. So here's Trump. He's doing a cabinet meeting here, and him and Pam Bondi are asked about Epstein, and look at how he absolutely crumbles.
Your memo and release yesterday with Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape?
Yeah, sure.
Did I just interrupt?
Sure.
Let me interject real quick to say, I forgot to bring this up, but they released what they say is the security video of Jeffrey Epstein's cell, and there's a minute missing from it. So that's sketchy as fuck, number one. But number two, the cell that they say is Jeffrey Epstein's cell in this video is not the picture that we got of Epstein's cell previously. So as you can see, none of this is adding up. The original story was, oh, the video went out. And now they're like, no, just kidding. We have the video and this is the video. Okay, then why doesn't the cell match the same cell as the last? I mean, it's preposterous. You had a forensic expert do an autopsy and say he has injuries that are consistent with murder, not consistent with taking his own life. And so now, I mean, there's so many holes in this fucking story, and here they are trying to clean it up. So ready? This is the Trump implosion.
There's a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the set.
Yeah, sure. If
Hey, could I just interrupt for
Sure.
1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Is it just me, or has he lost his fastball? I'm sorry, he is no longer a top-tier liar. I mean, that was embarrassing. Oh, are we still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? Epstein? We're still talking about Epstein. I was going to say it reminds me of the great Allen Iverson doing. We talking about practice? Practice. Well, not the game. We're talking about practice. But that would be disrespectful to Allen Iverson. Because he was like, all right, how do I try to sweep this under the rug? By the way, you fucking idiots, if Donald Trump was really intent on hiding the Epstein files, obviously the way you do it is to just slowly but surely move along, keep talking about other things, then talk about other things. Anytime you're asked a question on it, say, we're working through that, but then just never bring it back up. Run out the clock, you dumb bitch. You dumb bloated bitch. Like, obviously, if you did that, the MAGA people would go 100% all in with you, and they wouldn't even turn on, like, Pam Bondi like they are, or Kash Patel like they are. But instead, he comes up, turns out, actually, there was nothing at all involved in the Epstein thing, and he was a Boy Scout and stuff, and it's fine, bro. It's totally cool, bro. Nothing to see here at all, bro. Let's move on. And everybody looks at you like, what the fuck? What is this? And then, by the way, weird coincidence, literally a day later, you have Netanyahu show up and say, I officially recommended and nominated Trump to get a Nobel Peace Prize. And Trump is sitting there calling Netanyahu, quote, the greatest man in the world. Very fishy, because remember, evidence suggests that Epstein was Mossad, which is Israeli CIA, which would mean they have dirt on massive numbers of U.S. politicians and business people and celebrities, right? And so you sweep that under the rug, say there's nothing to see here, then Netanyahu comes and says, oh, you deserve a Nobel Peace Prize. I'm going to nominate you for a Nobel Peace Prize, which, by the way, is like Hitler saying, here's who's a really good guy, and you guys should take my opinion on that seriously, because I'm Hitler. Like, it's all so comical. Like I said, it feels like we live in a simulation with how ridiculous all this stuff is. I have never seen a response that more clearly screams, guilty. I'm guilty. Now, by the way, we are going to get to the MAGA reaction in just a little bit. It took them a day, but they landed on their spin, and it is embarrassing to see. But just to put this in perspective for you, maybe this is the reason why Trump is so intent on saying, everybody shut up about Epstein. Shut up, shut up, shut up. Let's move on. Here's Jeffrey Epstein talking to the journalist Michael Wolff. Michael Wolff did extensive interviews with him and recorded it on audio tape, and we got moments like this.
So how do you know this?
Let me read that quote to you one more time. Did you hear it? Watch. So how do you know this is the question? The answer is, I was Donald's closest friend for 10 years. I was Donald's closest friend for 10 years, which is why we have stories of women who've come out and said, there was some sort of weird sexual harassment, sexual assault game that Epstein and Trump used to play with me, where it's like, who could molest me more? We covered that story on the show probably about a year ago it was, on Crystal Kyle and Friends. I remember that. Nobody else seems to talk about it. Nobody else seems to talk about the fact that the first time Melania and Trump had sex, it was on the Lolita Express, Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile plane. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about the over 30 accusations against Trump that we already know of. Nobody talks about him being on the flight logs 7 times. Nobody talks about Fox News asking him if he would release the Epstein files. And in the edited version, he goes, yeah, I think I do that. But then in the unedited version, he goes, yeah, I think I do that. But, that one not so much, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that. You don't want to take down any innocent people. This man, I'm convinced he was Epstein's number one client, number one. And number two, I'm convinced he had something to do with the fate of Jeffrey Epstein, given that he was president at the time and Epstein was being held in a federal prison.
So I need the dump. Just give me dump.
Personally, it's fun. So you probably know he had a scalp reduction. Because he had the same male pattern moment that we all have.
So now this is the part where Jeffrey Epstein flexes his immense knowledge about Donald Trump. He talks about his various cosmetic surgeries, like a scalp reduction, which is an old way of, basically trying to give a guy more hair, make it look like they have more hair. Listen to the amount of detail he can provide about Donald Trump, which proves he was his best friend for a decade.
His scalp movement is there. Donald's office, as you know, he made that. He used to be on the phone and said, it's fake PR. I also found it funny. I was sitting there listening to the guys from the Post talk, and Donald would say, he's a great guy. I loved working with him. And I sit there going, this is just amazing. But he'd say, Michael, come on, let's go to the office. And he'd say, tell me, what's it like to be there? He'd say, you like having sex with your wife? How often do you? He'd say, it's great. Seriously, Michael, how often do we have sex? We go to work. You and I can go upstairs, or tomorrow come over. There's this girl's coming in from Los Angeles, part of the Hawaiian Tropic kind of Hawaiian. So come over with your car. You're going to have a great time. I promise you, Michael, it's just me and you. You're going to have a great time. Be up here at 3 o'clock. We can go upstairs. The whole time, Victoria's been on the phone. Listening. He set it up. Because he wants a story. So he has, this is an avoid conversation. You're not going to say yes, my wife. He had a really, speech. How would you like to do it? Come on, you must have had a better wife, right? I said, yes. Tell me about it. And the wife's on the speakerphone, listening to Donald and said, I think you're really hot. And I know you think you're a guy. Michael is like the end of the world, the best guy on earth. You'll be man for you're wrong. Just listen to the next 20 minutes. And go within your office, set you up.
So what he's describing there is how Trump would basically blackmail his friends and try to cuck his friends. He would call the friend's wife, keep them on speakerphone, talk to the friend, get them to say things about the sexual relationship they have with their wife, get them to agree tepidly, passively to, come have a good time. I got a model coming in town. You can go upstairs with her. You could have some fun. The whole time the wife is listening. So he tries to coerce people into these sexual relationships. And this shouldn't be a surprise. I mean, this is the guy we have on literal audio tape saying, I grab him by the pussy. I don't even wait. He doesn't wait for what? He doesn't wait for consent. That's what it is. And so when you look at the laundry list, bro, I mean, we have Michael Wolff came out and said, I was shown some of the pictures. Epstein showed me some of the pictures of that he had on Trump. And one of them was, spoiler alert, or not spoiler alert, but warning, content warning. One of them was he was surrounded by girls of a, quote, uncertain age. They were topless, bent over, and Trump was standing there with a stain on his pants, and they were pointing and laughing. This is the stuff that Trump is terrified is going to come out. Also, Elon said Trump is in the Epstein files, and now Elon's starting his own political party. That bridge is burned. So Trump is probably thinking he might actually have some of the dirt. So he's trying to get ahead of it by saying, hey, the FBI and DOJ already said there's nothing to see there. So all this stuff is fake news. All this stuff is a witch hunt. That's what he's doing. Epstein? Why are we talking about Epstein? I don't know Jeffrey Epstein. What are you talking about, Epstein? And what's so incredible is that despite this mountain of evidence, people on the right are saying, Pam Bondi, what have you done? Pam, Kash Patel, why are you betraying Donald Trump? You even have some people saying, Donald Trump is doing this to blackmail the deep state. What? What? Oh my God, the motivated reasoning is crazy. The working backwards from your conclusion is crazy. The Kool-Aid drinking cult is insanity, bro. I've never seen anything like this. Like, how much more evidence do you need that this dude, he's all over that shit? And yet still, you're more likely to find a right-winger talking about Bill Clinton. Or I even saw a meme that had Obama with Epstein in it. And it's like, nobody even alleges Obama was friends with Epstein or was on Epstein's island. Like, what are you talking about? Trump is obviously the number one culprit here. But they're coping and they're seething. But Trump clearly, like I said, he lost his fastball. He's not nearly as good at lying as he used to be. And this was just like, it comes across as so desperate. It smells so desperate. It smells like a cover-up because it is a cover-up. And you just know that Trump is the one telling Pam Bondi, telling Kash Patel, you got to go out there and say, there's nothing to see here. And then this way I can say, hey, I didn't say it. It was the FBI. It was the DOJ. I don't know what you're talking about. This is what's happening, y'all. This is what's happening. But never in my life have I ever seen a scenario more clearly scream guilty. Like, the second that they released that statement saying, oh, actually, there's actually nothing at all to see here. It's like, oh, okay. So they got some real bad dirt on you, dog. Some real bad dirt. And then that further begs the question, how is that dirt being used to control Trump? If Epstein is Mossad, and Mossad is Israeli CIA, and Israel's getting literally anything and everything they want, you connect the dots there, bro. You mix the blackmail with the hundreds of millions of dollars the Israel lobby has given Trump. He's like, shit, you can do whatever you want. You could take over Syria, as they have. You could steal the entire West Bank, as they're doing. You could finish the genocide in Gaza, as they're doing. All this stuff is connected. All this stuff is connected. And it's just wild to me that anybody, number one, gives Trump a pass, because a lot of Republicans do that. And then you have other people who just somehow believe the official story on Epstein, which is like, what even is the official story? The official story also points to some sort of elite human sex trafficker, right? Like, that's what the official story points to. The question is the details and the specifics. And there are, believe you me, countless hours of videos. There were reports that there were like tapes that said young person's name, old person name. Like that was what the label was on all the tapes. And now they're like, bro, there's nothing there. I don't even know what you're talking about. So the argument they're trying to make is, oh no, literally all of the trafficking of over 1,000 girls was just to Jeffrey Epstein. It was just Ghislaine Maxwell to Jeffrey Epstein, and that's it. How naive do you think we are, man? How naive I mean, anybody who buys that, Jesus Christ, that is, I got a bridge to sell you. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.